Hey everyone, Selena here, founder, host, lead educator with the American Crochet Association. I've just updated some things with an old but a good pattern, and I just wanted to go through them and show you what's new and different and interesting and really accessible about this Medley Crochet Blanket. So if you're watching, come on over, say hey, say hello, tell me where you're viewing from, even if you're watching on the replay, because I would just love it if we made this a fun conversation. So, fun fact, this is called the Medley Blanket because when I first wrote it back, let's see, hold on. Back in scroll. When I first wrote and published this back in January 2015, so I actually wrote it, or I actually probably started it like in November, December of 2014. When I first started making it, I used a yarn called Medley from Red Heart Yarn, Yarnspirations. And it was a new yarn. It was this really beautiful, thick. Is it even on here? Like, it is nowhere to be found anymore. I'd have to really do some digging to find it. Anyway, it was this new, gorgeous, beautiful yarn. It was really thick and bulky and chunky. And I loved the different colors. There was just so many different colors. They all looked really beautiful together because it was this marled yarn. And so it was just so easy to mix these different jewel tones of colors together. So here you can see my original Medley blanket right here. Let me show you another one, like a close-up. Man, I'm all over the place today. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 pictures of it. Do you see how gorgeous that yarn is? How gorgeous the colors were? And I mean, really, I just took a mixture of just, oh, here's a blue, here's a jewel, here's a green, here's a cream. It was so fun to work with that yarn, really thick, really chunky, so it worked up beautifully. It worked up quick. And I really love crochet blankets that have a little bit of weight to them. With bigger yarn kind of works up a little easier because it works up faster, and that thicker yarn just, it really makes you feel like you're wrapped in a hug. So I wrote this pattern for Medley yarn. I wrote it in just a couple sizes, so they're really small, like crib, baby, stroller, like kind of, in that realm. And so after I published it, then that yarn got discontinued. And so people wanted to make this exact same blanket, but they couldn't, there really wasn't a great substitute, not for the weight, you could find the weight, but for that beautiful jewel tone, like all of those colors. So I loved this blanket so much, and we had so many different projects that I really wanted to do this pattern justice. So I redid the entire thing in a worsted yarn. The story gets better. Like, this is, I'm taking you guys on a journey. The story gets better. So I redid the yarn I redid the blanket, the pattern in a worsted yarn. I wrote this pattern for 7 different sizes. So like 7 of the most popular blanket sizes that you'd want to make. I'll show you all the sizes in just a minute. I even provided the stitch repeat, and that way if you wanted to use even a different weight yarn, or if you kind of wanted to play around with size, you have the stitch repeat, so that way you can kind of, come up with a completely different stitch count than what I've come up with, right? And I did that in collaboration with a yarn company, because they had some yarns that they really wanted people to make patterns with. And I was like, I've got you. I've got this blanket. People like it. Here we go. So I still called it the Medley pattern. And I updated it to worsted yarn. I wrote it with this new yarn. And guess what? You guys can guess. I know that you can. You guys already know. The yarn got discontinued. So, so for the second time, but I kind of, I didn't plan that, but it's like I've worked with enough yarns, I've written enough patterns that like I was really kind of like, okay, I really need to diversify this. Like, I loved that Medley yarn. Even this particular yarn, when I rewrote the pattern, I love this yarn. It was such a great, economical yarn, very soft. It had this look and feel of, it had a look of wool, but not like the scratchy feel of wool. So let me retract that just a little bit. Anyway, gorgeous yarn, gorgeous colors, like so many different colors. Anyway, discontinued, gone. But I feel like that was a little bit of insurance on my part that I wrote it in worsted yarn and that I already did the math to make it in so many different sizes. So really, in having this pattern available for free at the American Crochet Association, just click on the link in this video description. It'll take you straight to the page. It's going to give you updated resources to not only see the yarn that I wrote it in for the second time, but it also gives a list of substitutes. And that way, if you don't really want to do a whole lot of digging, if you don't really want to do a whole lot of math and resizing, I do have a list of substitutes. And that way you can find yarns that you love and make a medley blanket that you'll be really happy with. So man, me and this blanket, we've been through a lot. But it's seriously just such a fun pattern. I really loved making it. I actually made this as a baby blanket for one of my sisters. Here, where's it? Right here. Made it as a baby blanket for one of my sisters. That because I loved it so much and I thought it was so gorgeous. It's such a simple pattern, but it has a really simplistic, different kind of, it's got a little bit of a stitch repeat. It's got a little bit of a row repeat. So it's not just like the same thing over and over again, but it's enough like repetition that like you can live life and you're not sitting there like kind of counting every single stitch. So I love this pattern and I think it's a great one. All right. It looks like quite a few of you guys are here. So let me say hello to Samantha. So good to see you, Samantha. Hello from Colorado. So good to see you. Hello, Desiree from Ohio. Thanks for checking in. Stephanie is checking in from Oklahoma. Stephanie is probably saying no to the yarn getting discontinued, but I swear it happens every single time. I swear it does. But I didn't want this pattern to go away. I really wanted to update it with the times to make it more accessible. And that way, I really wanted to write it in an accessible weight. And that way, even if the yarns that I wrote it with are no more, you can follow the pattern instructions and come up with roughly the same size within a very small margin of change. So I wanted to walk you guys through it, and that way you guys can see everything that you need to know, have everything that you can learn, all of the different resources that I have with this particular pattern. So I just kind of wanted to walk you guys through it. Again, click on the link in the video description. You guys are going to find this pattern that you can view for free at the American Crochet Association. And I do not currently have ads on my website, so there's none of that stuff. So you can just quickly and easily come on over here and get something that hopefully will teach you some things and hopefully will give you a pattern that you love. So first and foremost, one of the changes that I'm making is that I have added a table of contents, and it's right there at the top. So you can quickly and easily get to the section that you want. So if you want to learn more about yarn, or anything that you need to know, have, or do to make the crochet blanket, you can do that. If you want some resources, like crochet blanket sizes, you guys are going to love that. Stick around. I'm going to show you something in just a minute that you are absolutely going to want to save, print, and download. Or if you just want to get straight to the instructions, you guys can do that too. Let's see. If you guys want to purchase a PDF that you can save, print, download, add to your Ravelry library, I've got the link right here for you. We are going to look at some Ravelry projects in just a minute, particularly with all the different yarns, that people have used. Let's see, Medley Crochet Blanket Resources. So if you want to see other finished Medley blankets, 28 have been posted so far over the years. It's a great source of inspiration. So it's going to be, just a really great resource. If you're not really sure what colors or what yarn to use, or if you just want to see what other people have done, definitely check that out. Crochet blanket sizes. Okay, if you just want more information on crochet blanket sizes, if you want to download my cheat sheet, here, let me click on that link. So it takes us here. So I do have a cheat sheet. So much information, stitches. Yes, yes. If you guys do want a cheat sheet, then I do have one right here. It's all the popular blanket sizes, and these are all of the sizes that I have specifically written this pattern in. So anything from a lovey, like a 12-inch by 12-inch, all the way up to a king size. Yes, if you want to make this in a king size, you can do that as well. So this, again, is something you can save, print, download, save this page. You can print just this cheat sheet. You can download it. You can share it. Whatever you need to do, definitely keep this in your back pocket. It's a good one. Okay, so there's some crochet blanket size information if you want it. If you like this crochet blanket pattern and you want to see others on our website, I've went ahead and linked them. So here are some right here that you can quickly check out. everything that you need to know to make this blanket. So I do talk about the yarn that I rewrote this in, sprightly acrylic wool. Oh, it did have some wool. I thought it was 100% acrylic, but it's been a minute. I think they had an acrylic one and then a wool blend. Anyway, you don't have to use just acrylic. You don't have to use a blend. You don't have to use wool. You can use any fiber that you are most comfortable with. Particularly, you know, if there is a fiber that you prefer or a fiber that you kind of want to steer clear of. Really, it's more so about the weight, like the size, especially if you want to just follow my instructions and just make the exact size shown. So I tell you guys exactly what I use to make this, exactly what colors, the sample size shown. I've already done the legwork, so I've already looked for substitutes for the exact yarn that I use. You can just quickly click on that to get a list of current resources. If you guys want to understand more about yarn substitution for this project or any project, definitely check that out if you just want some more information. I've done some digging around, and I think these 3 yarns are great substitutes. So if you just don't really want to do any legwork, you just want my recommendation on yarns that are great substitutes for the one that I used, here they are right here. You can just click to find additional resources to make a purchase. Here are all the materials, again, with linked resources to make a purchase if you want. Here's the stitch key. This does just use basic stitches in really simple variations. So if you can chain, single, double, and slip stitch, then you can absolutely follow this pattern to make this blanket. If you guys want more information on what it means to chain, and that counts as a stitch or it doesn't count as a stitch, or like where to place your hook, do I work it in the stitch or the space? If you guys just want more information on where to place your hook or where stitches go in crochet, I've got some resources for you, so definitely check that out. Here are all the different sizes that you can make. These sizes are, of course, written without the border, or they're suggested without the border, because the border is very simplistic to add. It is just a few rounds. It will add a few extra inches, but it's something that you can very easily make smaller than the pattern suggests, or you can add more rounds to make that border larger if you want. Gauge, if you guys want more information on what gauge is, what swatching is, how to create a swatch so that you can work up your own stitch work and kind of map it out against a pattern, then I do have some resources for you. Here's some pattern notes here, especially the stitch multiples. So if you want to know, hey, how many stitches, what do I need to do to recreate this, I already have that information for you. And then here are the pattern instructions. This is something that I'm doing only on our website just to make it really easy to follow along, particularly if you're looking from a device. This is not how I format my patterns whenever you're purchasing a PDF. It looks very different. It's very printer friendly. But if you're looking from like a smartphone or a tablet or something like that, I love the bullet points in conjunction with making the row bold and then ending the stitch count in bold as well. It just makes so much sense to me. So I hope you guys enjoy that experience as well. And then here's the border, and then that's it. And then before you know it, you can work up any size that you need of this specific stitch pattern to make your very own medley blanket, again, in 7 different sizes. All right, it looks like so many of you guys are here. And it looks like Samantha's here. Thank you so much for following. So glad that you love our channel. Thank you so much. Stephanie P says that is an awesome cheat sheet. Yeah, the crochet blanket sizes. Information on how to crochet blankets in any size that you need. Definitely check that out. Samantha says, where can you get this pattern? It's the only link in the video description. So if you just go to this video and it's like read more, and then there's just some show notes and things like that, it's the only link there, and it takes you directly to this pattern. Yes, I am in Oregon. I'm in Central Oregon. You're in Colorado. I've been there so many times. Haven't been there in a minute though, but I used to go there all the time. That's where my husband's from. That's where his family is. Colorado reminds me, or Oregon reminds a lot of Colorado. So hope you're staying cool where you are, because it's hot here. It's super hot. Let's see. All right. That's it. That's everything that I wanted you guys to know about the medley blanket. I also just, I love telling stories about, you know, a little bit more about these patterns that I create. And I think this one kind of has like a history. I've made this blanket so many times just because the yarn has been discontinued. But then I also loved it so much. I really liked making the stitch pattern that I did make this for one of my nieces. And this is, this is her crochet baby blanket. So yeah. All right. Before I let you guys go, let's take a peek at some of the projects. Again, whenever you click on the link in the video description, that will also link you directly to the projects as well. I have a special section for that. Look at all of the different color variations for this. Like, there are no wrong answers. I mean, you can stripe it like I did. You can do this beautiful little, it looks like strawberry pattern. I mean, look at this white one with the green striping. Here's one that's like yellow and gray. Here's one that's just variegated yarn straight up. I mean, you can use a color blocking yarn and it kind of does all the color blocking for you. Here's one that's just in 3 different colors, the gold, blue, and purple. I mean, this stitch pattern, you can do whatever you want, honestly. I mean, here's one, again, with another variegated yarn. You can still really clearly see the stitch pattern, and it looks like you've striped, but really the yarn is doing all the hard work for you. So many different variations of this pattern just based on how many colors you use and where you place those colors to make a pattern. Here are all the different yarns people have used so far. Starting with the yarn that is used the most, like Karen's Simply Soft, Hobby Lobby, I love this yarn. Red Heart Medley. Oh, there it is. So beautiful. I was so mad when they discontinued that. Maybe they'll bring it back one day. Maybe not. I don't know. But it was gorgeous. Lion Brand Heartland, Loops and Threads Impeccable, Red Heart with Love. I mean, anything I think in the Weight 4 family is going to give you roughly the size as indicated in the pattern instructions. And I think that it's going to give you really great results that you're really going to be happy with. I don't think you're going to, it's not like you're, I want to make a baby blanket, but I'm following this pattern with a Weight 4 yarn and oops, I accidentally made a throw or, a king size or something. I think that it's really easy to kind of measure as you go. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoy the Medley blanket as you guys work up this pattern. I would love it if you come over to our community, share the yarn that you're using, share your progress pictures, share your finished blanket pictures. I mean, really, any crochet chat is welcome at the American Crochet Association. And so if you love crochet, you're welcome there, especially if you want to show us your Medley blanket, okay? All right, everybody, peace, love, crochet. Thank you so much for being here. Tag a crochet friend. Share this in a community who loves crochet if you think they'll dig it too. All that fun stuff. I'd really appreciate it. It goes a long way. Thank you. See you next time.